Hello and welcome to another Office Hours. Capsule. That's right, capsule. I want to see how ridiculous I can get with these. This is a segment of my Office Hours live stream, which I do on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, YouTube.com/TheAstroPubLive, on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join chat right here. We do this live. Chat's going to lie to you and tell you that we're not live, that this is pre-recorded, because chat are a bunch of dicks. But join these live. Join the chaos that is when I use when I step away and the sound emotes come out in force. So it's all sorts of wonderful things. And if you want to check that out yourself, I'll leave a link up there in the top left, up there, that direction. I can't remember. I don't know which one it is. Over there for the full VOD if you want to watch it, to give you an idea. But this is going to be, today we're going to go over the monthly report for October of 2023, the Star Citizen monthly report. Now, to keep this in context, this is just after CitizenCon, so a lot of this stuff may just be, we supported CitizenCon. But there's also, I've checked it a little bit of already, and there's some newer stuff in there as well. And to kind of validate myself a little bit, to kind of get you to subscribe and like the video like I want you to do, and ring that bell, the notification bell for more. We've been following, I've been doing this for several years now, and pretty much all of the stuff we saw at CitizenCon was related to stuff that was already in monthly reports in previous months. A lot of that stuff was not really a surprise to me, because it was like, oh yeah, this is stuff they talked about in the monthly report. It was nice to see it in action though. So if you want a good idea of what's coming out in Star Citizen in the next 12 months or so, following these reports is key to kind of getting your full understanding of development. Now, I know a lot of people do summaries of these, which is fine, but if you're watching a summary, you're relying on somebody else's kind of truncation of that information rather than hearing the information itself. I'm not doing a summary. This is a full read through, and I'll be adding my own context for stuff that's been happening in the past, as well as maybe my own thoughts or interpretations in there as well. So you can think of this as kind of like the audiobook format of the monthly reports. With that all being said, let's jump into the October 2023 Star Citizen PU monthly report. With Alpha 3.21 and CitizenCon us, many development teams have diverted their attention to upcoming patch releases closing out the year. Read on for all the latest updates on ships, locations, missions, and more coming soon into 2024. AI features. Last month, AI features focused on bringing AI combat functionality from Squadron 42 to the PU for Alpha 3.22 release. Okay. That's immediately what? No. No. I'm not. I don't think the servers are ready for that. I don't know if CIG thinks it's something we don't. But for those of you who don't know, if you watched last year's CitizenCon 2023 or 2022, you will see the AI behavior. They did a panel on it in 2023 as well, but this is a more dynamic behavior for AI. They'll do more, like the push, the flank. They have different, like the tag system that they use. It's also going to be used for like dynamic, or for combat for ships as well. So 3.22 is the end of the year. That's the Q4 patch. That's pretty big. This involved including introducing Squadron 42's accuracy calculation, perception reactions, ammo management, hazard avoidance, medic behaviors, and combat tactics. So this sounds just like it's the FPS. We're really looking forward for you to get your hands on the updated AI combat, providing feedback on us. AI features team. I will, if the servers don't derp out. The team also ramped up bug fixing, which included improving firing validation to allow for multiple observable points. This allows NPCs to fire at the player if you're behind chest-high cover. Before, they would only validate towards aiming position. Now they extend to the first visible observable position that validates successfully, meaning they're going to shoot at you more. Issues with AI not reloading in cover, medic AI not correctly aligning with characters when healing, and AI not shooting while strafing are also fixed, along with the crash caused by navigation link raycasts. Which may mean that friendly AI, like say you're doing the bunker missions, they may actually heal you. So if you're down, they may actually bring you back up. That's interesting. The new structure for AI combat dialogue and wildlines was implemented, and the flow of the first reactions before combat when standing in a usable was closed off. The team continued to polish and retarget animations for Pyro's female combatants and civilians too. AI tech. In October, the AI tech team continued to work on the Boyd system and the Apollo subsumption tool, alongside optimizations and improvements for the wider PU, Pyro, and CitizenCon. For the Boyd system, they began fixing issues relating to spawning and unspawning and moving properties for agents. They then iterated on and improved the rules for flying groups and updated the separation rule for a better rapport between distance and strength in relation to other agents. Functionality for adjusting position during animation transitions was also added for that. For example, landing animations appear smoother. The logic for spawning agents on navigation mesh was updated too. The next step for Boyds is to iterate on death states and how they transition into ragdoll. Excuse me. Boyds is birds, fish, and rats, small creatures which aren't designed to be fully like animated out. You don't have to like get the different parts of them, and they're just tiny little creatures. So they're all kind of put together. October saw this Apollo subsumption tool receive numerous improvements alongside bug fixing. For example, new functionalities were implemented to allow conversion between conversations activity and secondary conversation activity. The team also updated sorting functionality for variables to allow manual reordering and refactored variable data to use less memory. Several AI systems were updated too. For collision avoidance, the team improved how they will change collision resolution mode between NPC standing, moving, and sitting in a vehicle. They also updated collision avoidance logic for cases when NPCs are part of a conversation, so that when computing nearby agents and obstacles, they can also account for conversation members and ignore them. They then updated collision avoidance parameters to give better results for cases like NPCs pushing a trolley and multiple NPCs in a conversation, either moving along a path or staying still. It's a lot of conversation stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like collision avoidance, so they might actually be a little bit more reactive. So, on the behavior side, multiple improvements and integrations were completed for both ship AI and NPCs to add the same functionality from Squadron 42. So yeah, definitely sounds like the FPS AI is coming in 3.22, and then the ship AI probably not in 3.22, but later. Because that was just added to Squadron 42, like June, I want to say, June or July. AI Tech also continued to process the process of adding navigation anchors to more of their systems, which allows them to be more efficient in calculating and keeping track of where position is on the nav mesh. Last month, navigation anchors were added to the Pathfinder for requests and the movement system component to keep information about which navigation triangle the NPC is on. They've been really working on a lot of the navigation triangles. They've been having some trouble. Basically, the navigation triangles allows them to avoid things like fire and other locations, but it also allows them to move from inside buildings to outside of buildings and move around on the surface and such like that. So, which they sort of have, but right now, like, I don't think they can go outside of a specific area. They want to make it so they can go anywhere. Various bugs were also fixed through October, including how cover locations are calculated based on the simplified cover path, as the team found a bug in the calculation that could lead to the creation of unnecessary cover, and therefore excessive memory use. They also fixed a scenario where planetary navigation mesh tiles were created and wrongly destroyed, even though there were still NPCs around the area. All right. This is where we're starting getting into the pretty brief ones. Animation. The animation team spent the month delivering facial animations for combat AI, including female combatants and various background characters. They also planned out the required actions for some new characters, for some new creatures. I do want to point out as well, since we talked about AI a little bit, that CIG is actively looking for a senior lead developer for creatures, which is either the design and AI or just design, but they're definitely looking for someone to create creatures for them. I think it's AI. So it could be rigging. Art characters. In October, the character art team began working on racing flight suits and its helmets, started on new creature models, and prepared for CitizenCon. Alongside this, the character concept art team further explored ideas of fauna and medical outfits. Art ships. In October, the Crusader A1 and C1 Spirit both reached the end of final art, with an all-new ship reaching final art. So if they say an all-new ship, and this was released today or yesterday, this isn't any ship they've talked about. So this isn't the Zeus, this isn't the Drake. It could be the cutter variant that they want to do. Could be the cutter variant, because we know there's another cutter variant that they're going to release probably at IAE, my guess. So, with its final reviews approaching soon, white box for the RSI Polaris increased as more artists were freed up from other projects. Last month, the team focused on the habitation areas at the front of the ship, working their way back to ensure that everything is set up and ready for the design to make a pass. The exterior white box is nearly finished, with elements like turrets in progress. The team also worked on changes to the Aegis Reclaimer to support structural salvage, including altering the claw and interior salvage stations. Are we getting the claw? Because we know we're getting the hull munching in 3.22. Is the claw going to be functional in 3.22? That's nuts. That's nuts. That's cool. The new variant mentioned in last month's report continued through Greybox, all vehicle components being added. Once these geometry changes have been completed, it will receive a damage pass. I wonder what that is. Finally, on the run-up to CitizenCon, the team completed a pass in the Crusader A2 Hercules to add relays for the Resource Network demo, as it was creating the relay asset itself. As is creating the relay asset itself. So we now know that that was specifically created for the A2 Hercules, the stuff that they made. They made it for CitizenCon, the one that they showed off. So, community. October was CitizenCon month, with the team traveling to Los Angeles to lead all various initiatives surrounding the convention. They're very good. We're good. The team supported the community booths, volunteers, and Atmo Esports tournament, the cosplay contest, as well as overseeing the event itself. I want this dress in game, CIG. The ghoulish green dress, please. Additionally, they supported the launch of the preview channel, putting the Pyro system into the hands of players at home after the show had concluded. October also brought the Day of the Vara, 2953's Halloween equivalent. The team brought back the fan favorite pumpkin carving contest, as well as a new video contest challenging filmmakers in the community to create a 1-minute horror machinima video with Star Citizen. Lastly, the team assisted with the flyable launch of the Anvil F8C Lightning, alongside live Q&A and player experience teams. The community launched the Gold and Platinum Tickets events, where players engage with the developers for a chance to take home the F8C of their own. Economy. So this was a big one. In October, the economy team continued balancing the profitability of commodities for Pyro and Stanton. They also began reviewing and balancing the AUEC prices of vehicles, identifying various criteria to help inform how they should be priced to better reflect their current potential. Similarly, they started balancing the prices of armor using an algorithmic approach based on information pulled from live game data. Vehicle and armor price balancing feeds into the team's goal of holistically balance effort versus reward across the game, and provide other teams with guidelines on how to price items in the future. So I saw that and was pretty intrigued by this. So it seems like, and this is one of those things that you can get into when you start reading the monthly reports. We know that the Quantum team is currently on pause. So I imagine that a lot of the quantum team is now moving over to the economy team to build a more economy of scale right now. Like they're building the economy by hand rather than using the quantum system, because they have to wait for a bunch of other things to come online before the quantum system can be completed. So now, instead of just having them sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for everything to get done, they're just building the economy. So this is not going to be a dynamic economy, at least not for a while. It's just they're trying to balance it to make it a little bit better, which sounds like we're probably going to do it patch to patch. So it'll be interesting to see if we're going to see a lot of changes from 3.22 or 3.23 with this one. So Economy also supported other teams on gameplay features, including the vehicle tractor beams, salvage contracts, and the profitability of loot found in vehicle wrecks. Additional support was provided for various events, including CitizenCon and Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, the F8C Hunt, and the Day of the Vara. Engine. All right. I am not an engineer. I do not know the will of the Omnissiah. I cannot turn rocks into replicators. I am but me, a simple historian bartender with a very smooth brain. So I've been learning a little bit of engine speak, but I don't fully understand everything. I'll still read it, but if you are one of those who understands the whispers of the machine spirits, please do let us know in the comments down below what this all means. Thank you. And for those of you who I met at CitizenCon who told me you were the ones who were doing that in my comments, thank you. May the Omnissiah bless you. Whatever that whole thing is, you know. Live long and prosper, I guess. Engine. The majority of the engine team's work last month involved prepping for CitizenCon. All teams were hands-on deck to prepare to deliver features and support other teams on work related to what we showed at CitizenCon. This is always an interesting time, as it is very stressful, but also rewarding when everything comes together due to focused effort. Engine team. The core engine team primarily worked on bug fixes for live release, including some long-standing memory leaks in the live server. The physics team focused on delivering improvements to the Maelstrom destruction system and the cloth and hair tech. Lastly, the Entity System Tech team supported the online team to deliver the server meshing demo while continuing to work on editor entity streaming. So I do want to I do want to send each office's engine team 2 little bits, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below for this as well. Because of this joke, I've been thinking about trying to see if I can find someone who can 3D print and paint me some servo skulls from Warhammer 40k, and also like maybe a tricorder for and send them both for the engine teams, just being like, as a thank you, hope these tools help you. Let me know if that's a good idea. I'll just see if I can't put that together for them. All right. Features Arena Commander. October saw the Arena Commander feature team finishing support for Alpha 3.21. They also supported several things shown at CitizenCon and continued to polish various features. The engineering team primarily focused on the development of multi-crew gameplay and spawn locations, adding features such as locking and unlocking vehicles, respawning, and seat selection within vehicles. Another primary focus was on custom matches. Thank you. The team connected the remaining service code to the game code and began adding final hooks into the UI, utilizing the new custom lobby UI created by design. They also created a new game mode featuring master modes and added various quality of life improvements and bug fixes for Alpha 3.22, including a rework of the friendly fire system. They also enabled the award service in the PU, which is most recently used for the Anvil F8C Hunt and the 999th Test Squadron Badge Reward. Finally, for engineering, work was completed on the Solar Flare Hazard, which was featured in the Pyro Playground at CitizenCon. For Arena Commander? Design continued to work on multi-crew gameplay and spawn locations alongside engineering. They also created a custom UI, lobby UI made various improvements on existing UIs, and completed work on multiple new FPS and atmospheric locations. And atmospheric flight locations, okay. Another pass over all of Star Citizen's vehicles was done, which involved hooking up seats and tags with the information needed to enable multi-crew gameplay. For example, they updated scoring to account for multi-crew and better defined ship classes to include some that weren't previously featured due to requiring a crew to work as intended. A successful go/no-go was achieved for various game modes and locations coming in Alpha 3.22. Are we getting new maps in Alpha in 3.22? That's a big one. Features gameplay. Last month, the features team made significant progress on engineering gameplay, including the UI. They also progressed with structural salvage and are currently in the final phase of their vehicle tractor beam work. We know that structural salvage, aka hull munching, which I'm going to keep calling hull munching, is going to be coming out in 3.22, which is supposedly the end of the year. So, features mission. The mission features work on data heist intensified, with the mission making it past its third gate review and entering the QATR stage. The QA are currently testing the mission alongside dedicated designer who is fixing bugs as they're found. The mission received its narrative pass too, so all the text are now complete, while the various UI screens are brought up to the desired quality. Okay, nice. It's an interesting addition as has been the new dialogue sound effects, which the servers play to give players important feedback on their current cooling states. Mission features team. Work continued on the Blockade Runner global event, which is replacing the Ninetales lockdown, with focus given on deciding which commodity is to be transported. Improvements are also made to the scenarios that occur when a player is interdicted during the event. And important work on the event backend means it can now be scheduled better. Mission features worked alongside economy to more accurately balance the cargo manifest seen in salvage, bounty, and assassination missions to ensure they don't break the economy. The Steal and Recover courier missions saw their first white box playthrough with start to finish flow complete. The team are now switching to the polish stage and building variants. And that's something we'll probably see in Q1, if not, probably not Q4, but Q1 of next year. The ship trespass feature passed its go, no go and was integrated for the next release. So we're getting ship trespass in 3.22. The team are currently investigating non-violent means to remove trespassers from ships. Punch them in the face and drag them out with a tractor beam? The mission features continued their previously unrevealed work supporting Pyro, including new bombing run and destroy vehicle missions. These use a variant of the destroy items module used in the destroy drugs mission. The team also began setting up and implementing Squadron 42 AI trait system shown at CitizenCon. Okay, so they are working on the trait system. The updated Siege of Orison global event and new Babbage's new player experience are currently going through the QATR and final polish phase. Designs for future content also progressed. Are we getting Siege of Orison at IAE? That'd be cool. Probably a 3.22 though. And chat is correcting me that Trespass is in 3.21.1, which I don't think is in. I don't think it's in the PTU currently though. Could be wrong. Let me know. Features vehicle. In October, the vehicle features team focused on bug fixing and quality of life improvements for Alpha 3.21 and CitizenCon. They also improved the handling of ground vehicles across different terrains to make them more predictable and tweaked various other ship systems to improve gameplay balance. A tuning pass began on various upcoming ships and vehicles too. Graphics, VFX programming, and Planet Tech. For the graphics, Planet Tech, and VFX programming teams, the majority of October was spent polishing the many features demonstrated at CitizenCon, including the water simulation, global illumination, maelstrom, fire, and rifle scopes. The Vulcan sub-team continued tackling the remaining performance and stability issues, which all need to be addressed before a public beta test can be considered. Okay, that's pretty big. So they're going to be doing a public beta test of Vulcan soon. That's good to hear. Interactables. Last month, the Interactable team worked towards CitizenCon producing assets included in the digital goodies pack. They also supported new underground facilities, pushing the boundaries to create new and interesting props, and worked towards Pyro, helping to close out areas for dressing in multiple locations. Chat's currently talking about different ways of disabling people and moving them out. Stun guns. Stun guns is the answer. It's the simple one. Or, yeah, stun guns. Lighting. Alongside CitizenCon, the lighting team worked to close out multiple locations across Pyro. Live tools. The Live tool team worked on various features in support of CitizenCon and server meshing demo. Tasks also began to improve the usability of tools within the Network Operations Center. This is progressing well, and new modules are currently being designed for future implementation. Locations EU. Last month, the locations team progressed with Pyro's rundown stations and added improvements to New Babbage, which we've seen in the PTU. The Sandbox team continued to work on Pyro's settlements and new underground facilities. Alongside this, the Organics team worked on planets and some smaller features for Pyro. Very cool. Narrative. October saw a flurry of activity for the Narrative team as they worked towards finalizing content for CitizenCon. While Narrative didn't have a presentation at this year's show, they supported other teams and worked hard to get content polished and ready for Pyro's showcase, which featured numerous missions from a brand new factions. The Narrative design team spent time polishing AI behaviors in the system to ensure that its NPC populations had the right look and feel. Additionally, they joined in the internal Pyro playtests, where they helped spot and address last-minute bug fixes. The team also supported the release of Alpha 3.21 with new missions, items, and locations. Looking ahead, Narrative dedicated time to future improvements, such as evaluating how to improve the stability of the game's various mission givers, as well as a long-term planning of additional future content with more narrative focus. Last month also saw the release of Whitley's Guide on the 600i, a portfolio on the Unification Wars, an updated Galactic Guide for the Pyro system, and a host of new Galactopedia entries. R&D. In October, time was dedicated to cloud shaping improvements for the use in Alpha 3.21 and beyond, which will allow the team to author more varied cloud content, which we saw at CitizenCon. For example, it is now easier to break up cloud fronts. The improvements also provide more flexibility in blending shape noise at height. As a result, the consistency of short versus long distance reads was improved, and tiling from orbit is less noticeable. More improvements are planned, particularly with regards to improving details at cloud fringes. The first iteration of ground fog was also made available to the content teams, which follows terrain up to a specific height per location and fully integrates into the atmosphere. As a result, it receives volumetric shadows from both clouds and terrain, alongside dampening direct and indirect light scattering throughout the atmosphere in the view ray. Moreover, support was added to cast volumetric shadows from clouds into the atmosphere. This includes various optimizations to sample and evaluate volumetric cloud shadows. As a byproduct, volumetric cloud shadows now also update lazily to further reduce cost when the camera or sun isn't moving significantly. Cloud shadow quality at low sun angles was also improved by compressing the available space in the shadow map to allow for more details around the camera. Additionally, a few long-standing issues with cloud rendering had been fixed. For example, the ghost lines on clouds that were occasionally visible when looking at them and towards the virtual planet horizon were fixed, and the setup of LOD constants for cloud shaping related texture lookups was updated to avoid excessive blurring when rendering clouds at half resolution. Lastly, work on ground fog resulted in various optimizations, as well as a fix for subsample sized holes in planet terrain height maps. These height maps are used for various purposes, such as building planet terrain shadows or spawning GPU particles on the ground. The latter was especially subject to those holes, as they could cause infrequently erratic spawns of particles. Looking forward, work on the new temporal cloud renderer mode will commence in November. VFX. Last month, VFX team completed their work on Pyro preparation for Pyro transitioning into player hands. They also worked on all new water simulation and effects alongside graphics team, provided the VFX support for various other teams' CitizenCon presentations. So, what did we learn today? Absolutely nothing. As always. But in reality, we learned a little bit more. A lot of the stuff was supporting Pyro. We saw Pyro, CitizenCon, and Polish for a lot of the stuff. The R&D stuff was all mostly clouds. We saw Narrative was doing some stuff for Pyro and other showcases, mostly supporting CitizenCon. They're doing the new UGFs, which is the new, I think they're calling them distribution centers now, as well as new improvements to new Babbage and stations and Pyro stations and server meshing tools. A lot of it is just straight up CitizenCon Pyro or Polish. We did get an update from the mission features team talking about things like the data heist, blockade runner, the economy is getting a little bit of an overhaul, engineering's getting an update, Arena Commander's getting new maps. Yeah, and the big one, I think the biggest one, is that the AI is finally moving from Squadron 42 to Star Citizen. A lot of the new systems for AI starting to make its way over, as well as a bunch of ships coming out. So that's pretty much it for this month. It's kind of a light one, as you can see by the smaller time frame. But as always, I do want to hear your thoughts on any of these topics. Are you excited, not excited? Is this just tradition? Is there anything you're looking forward to out of this? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, join us live Thursdays, twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive. I'd love to see you here. And as I like to always say, first of all, say goodbye, chat. And like I always say, hope to see you someday in the black.